Attention bowlers, we are gonna get started. Please finish your warm-up frames. We'll be changing to scoring in just a moment. Welcome back to the Expanse. That is 3-ball spare, and welcome to Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire for another Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour match. It is a doubleheader this Saturday, snowy Saturday noontime, lunchtime special. It is going to be a Class B&E North, some B&E action. It's John Cadiero versus John Lescarbeau and Bryan Hebert versus Kristen Poirier. I am Steve Kelly. I'm going to be on the call for the audio and presenting the scoreboard and the stream and the cameras and all whatnot. It's great to have you along. We are going to be starting in just a moment here. I'm going to give the bowlers a thumbs up to let them know that they're ready. And let's get moving here at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, brought to you by 3-Ball Spare Conglomerate. This match was played on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at about noon. And here's Kristen Poirier with the inaugural first ball. And then Bryan Hebert as well. It'll be a head-to-head match today. We'll get the scoreboard display all set up in just a moment. Once we get settled in, there's Kristen Poirier with an interesting first drop. On the second ball, Kristen Poirier is faced with a split, and it will become an 8-box for Kristen. And then Bryan Hebert with an 8 of his own, 8 after 1. If you've never seen Candlepin bowling, I hope you enjoy what you're watching today, and I hope your intrigue finds you more interested in Candlepin bowling. This is a unique take on bowling from the heart of New England and Eastern Canada. This broadcast should have subtitles and live captions. If you would like to enable them, please consider the transcript feature if you're watching this from YouTube. And during the match, I'll provide the play-by-play action and scoring to the best of my ability. The numbers on your screen are unofficial. The bowlers maintain the authority on the scores. There's a 7-drop and a split for Kristen Poirier. On the right, Bryan Hebert with a few down, a washout. 1, 2, 4, 8, 6, 10 for Bryan Hebert. It's a head-to-head match. This is the Class E North matchup. Kristen Poirier narrowly missing her spare. Bryan Hebert into the ocean on the spare shot. Kristen with a 10, cleaning it up really nicely, 18 after 2. Bryan Hebert also with a nice cleanup for 8 in the second for 16. Later on YouTube, I'll likely have chapters added to the version of that video there, so you'll be able to jump to certain points in the games if that is your preference. And if the off chance you like this content, I encourage you to consider subscribing to this channel to help us grow. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comments. There is Kristen Poirier with a 6-drop. Missed the head pin. Got a good mix out of it, though. Bryan Hebert, he'll take the 10 pin out. Poirier takes 2. Leaves the 1 and the 4. Bryan Hebert takes a few more out. It's 3 down for Bryan, 8 down for Kristen. Kristen Poirier. It becomes a 9. 27 after 3. Bryan Hebert, the result of the play is a 7 for 23 after 3. We'll talk about Kristen Poirier first. She has a season record of 73-39 after 8 matches played. Away record 24-18. Home record 49-21. Season average 94.9. Away average 92.6. Home average 96.36. High single 123. High series 492 as she drops 3. Bryan Hebert off to the right. Also drops 3 and then some. Comes over to take the 7. It's a 4-drop actually. Kristen Poirier after taking the 6, 9, 10. Off to the left of the head pin, mixes down everything but the 1 and the 3. Bryan Hebert Jr. will take the third, pin number 3 out for 5 up, 5 down. Poirier on the 1-3 for the scoring drive of 9, 36 after 4. Bryan Hebert for 5, 28 after 4. 29 after 4. It's a 6-box. Miscount. Kristen Poirier on your right, our home bowler today. She has 6 strikes, 56 spares, 65 tens with a 32% perfect box percentage on the season so far, 37.98 seasonal pinfall. Currently first place in her division. That's Class E North Division 1 at Boutwell. Is currently second place in the wild card, but she's a division leader. 7 drop for Kristen with the head pin down. It's a split. Bryan Hebert mixes down. I don't know what we call that shot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. Kristen Poirier will sail into the void on the second ball. Retry for the third. Hebert on the pocket. Come on, come get the 3. The 3 is down. That's a spare for Bryan Hebert. He'll draw first blood and sit with a 39.5 and a bonus. Kristen Poirier will take an 8 by the looks of it, 44 after 5. It's time for your first score update of the day. In our first matchup of 2 in the Class E matchup that led off first, it's Bryan Hebert with 39 and a bonus after 5, and Kristen Poirier with 44 after 5. That is your score update. It's 5 games, so if you're just tuning in, we are just still getting out of the intros effectively. And speaking of intros, let's talk about our next matchup. It's Class B North, John Cadiero at John Lescarbeau. They will be starting here in just a moment. And John Lescarbeau will begin. 8 drop on the head pin. A 7 drop for Cadiero. John Lescarbeau misses a spare. Cadiero does the same. John Lescarbeau, nice 10 box. Pretty one, and a 9 box for Cadiero. Head-to-head matches today in the Class B matchup today. John Lescarbeau, the bowler on the right, we'll talk about him first. He has a season record of 52 and 46 with 7 matches played. On the road, he's 28 and 28. At home, he's 24 and 18. He has a season average of a 111. Away average 106.47. Home average of 115.67. There's a 2 drop for Lescarbeau. Cadiero drops 6. No spare for Cadiero. No spare for Lescarbeau either. Lescarbeau will take a 9. Cadiero will take a 9, making my job easy. 18 after 2 for Cadiero, 19 after 2 for John Lescarbeau. John L on your right, John C on your left. John Lescarbeau has a high single 135, a high series of 606. And there's a strike, though, all the while for John Cadiero. And a 5 split situation for John Lescarbeau. He'll punch another out. It is currently 28 and a bonus after 3 for John Cadiero. With that strike, John Lescarbeau is working on it for a 10 box here in the third ball. Ends up becoming an 8 box. That's 27 after 3 for John L. Here's the strike by John Cadiero again. Take a look at that. Would you look at that? All over the 1-3 pocket. Knocks them all down. And here's the follow-up now. Here's John Lescarbeau with a 5 fill. 5 drop, I mean. John Cadiero, that's going to drive me crazy all day. He takes 6 so far on the strike fill. John Lescarbeau misses the object pin. John Cadiero for the spare. He's got a spare. That's a big 20. That should put him at about 48 after 4 and a bonus by my estimates. Lescarbeau will take a 10. And let's cue up another replay for you at home. 1-3-9-10 for John Cadiero as he fired right on that. It was a full shot that just had to careen to the right, and once he took that out, it was just gravy from there on out. Here's John Lescarbeau with a 9 drop on the 5-pin kingpin left on the deck, and same exact result for John Cadiero as he fills with 9. 19 fill for 57 and 4. Lescarbeau, he's got it. That's a spare for Lescarbeau. Cadiero stuffed by the wood. Right idea, just bad luck. Angles. He'll take a 10 box instead. That's after 5. Single pin spare for John Lescarbeau. That puts him at 47 and a bonus after 5 and 67 after 5 for John Cadiero. What a half by John Cadiero in particular. John Lescarbeau not taking a lot of that line down either. 3 perfect boxes for 5 with 47 after 5. It's now back to Bryan Hebert and Kristen Poirier. Bryan Hebert fires next. He drops 6, excuse me. And it's a 6 fill on his spare. And a 6 drop for Kristen Poirier as well. Bryan Hebert will miss the object to the right just slightly, leaving 2, shaving off 2. Poirier takes a 7, leaves the 1-3-10. Hebert for a 10, takes 8. Poirier on the 1-3-10 for a 10 box. The ball is careening off to the right. She'll take 1 out for an 8 box. That should be 53 after 6 for Kristen Poirier. 52 after 6 for Kristen Poirier. 53 after 6 for Bryan Hebert. And yes, I can confirm that is accurate to the best of my ability, but I have the electronic scoreboard out of view to keep myself honest. Bryan Hebert splits 6. Kristen, head pin, drops 8. 5-9. Here's Bryan Hebert on the banana conversion attempt. Not quite there. Hard shot. Kristen Poirier, oh, just a little bit off. Bryan will make a 7 out of it. 60 and 7. Kristen Poirier will take a profit of a few pins with a 9 box for 61 and 7, taking the lead by 1. And Bryan will mix down 6. Kristen Poirier will mix down 6. Bryan misses it. Kristen Poirier looking to get it started there. She'll take 1 out and leave 3. Bryan Hebert will make it a 7 box. 67 and 8. And Kristen will make it a 9. 70 and 8 for Kristen Poirier. 67 and 8 for Bryan Hebert. My eyes do not deceive me. That is correct. And Hebert will take down 7. Kristen takes 3 out, mixes it down. 1-2-9 lead for Bryan Hebert. Oh, and he'll take out the 1 and the 2, and he'll dance around the 9. Kristen Poirier, 1-3 pocket, a little, well, a thinnish hit. She leaves the 4-7-9. Bryan will sell for a 9 box for 76 after 9. Kristen Poirier, 4-7-9. She'll make it a 9 box. 79 and 9 for Kristen Poirier. Bryan will punch 2. Half Worcester right side. Kristen Poirier will take 2, take 3. Hebert off to the left, leaves the 1 and the 3. Kristen Poirier spare shot. It's going off to the right. And Hebert will make that an 8. Bryan Hebert's first game is 84. Kristen Poirier's first game with that 9 box is going to be 88. Give you the update on the scores. It's currently an 84 game for Bryan Hebert. Kristen Poirier with 88. Bryan Hebert will take the Kristen Poirier will take the first game by 4, 88 to 84 in this first game of 5. John Cadiero and John Lescarbeau still waiting in the wings to finish their games. They'll be starting just about now. Here comes Cadiero and Lescarbeau now. Cadiero first. 6 drop. Cadiero on the head pin. He'll mix 7 down and fill with 7. Cadiero 1-3 pocket. It's gone. Spare for John Cadiero. John Lescarbeau. It's gone. Spare for John Lescarbeau. Dueling spares. John Lescarbeau will fill with, John Cadiero will fill with 7. Like I said, that's going to drive me crazy all day. John Lescarbeau fills with 1. Yikes. 7-10 split for John Cadiero. John Lescarbeau's on the head pin on the second ball. Much better ball. It ends up being a leave of the 3-9-10. Cadiero will turn it into a 9 for 87 and 7. John Lescarbeau will take it. Will make it a 7 for 78 and 7. I believe. Did I miss something? Seeing a discrepancy in the scoreboard. I will figure that out in just a moment. As soon as I have a couple of free seconds. John Cadiero will split 7. John Lescarbeau will split 5. And a miss on the shot for Cadiero. Lescarbeau, it becomes a spare. Nice one for John Lescarbeau. That'll be a 10 for Cadiero. Yeah, have a look at that. Beautiful shot by John Lescarbeau. Look at that 10 pin going down. Real fancy like. Lescarbeau has 83 in a bonus, so I'm still catching up to that. I'm figuring out where I messed up in the scores. And he'll take a strike, though. Let's not lose ourselves in that. John Lescarbeau with a big 20. Cadiero makes it a nice 10. It's 113 and 9 for Cadiero. Lescarbeau is currently at 103 after 9. Okay, Lescarbeau I'm caught up on. Cadiero I'm still getting the score update keyed in. Cadiero 6. And a 3-drop spread eagle. Oh, but a nice spare, though, for John Cadiero. So Cadiero. $123 in a bonus. 5 fill on the strike, and then an 8 box becomes a 116 for John Lescarbeau. I think we are actually caught up in scores. Yes, we are. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me on that. The scores got a little weird down there in the electronic scoreboard, but we are now back in sync. The spare fill follow-up for John Cadiero. 6 fill, 129 to 116 is your first game result. Oh my goodness, for John Cadiero and John Lescarbeau. What a game, what a finish. Scoring confusion aside, these are the final scores, and this is what they have down there. That's what I have back here Oh my goodness, what a game so far. John Cadiero 129, John Lescarbeau 116, a difference of 13 between that matchup. Bryan Hebert and Kristen Poirier, difference of 4. Kristen Poirier took the first game 88 to Bryan Hebert's 84. We now move on to game 2 of the ACST. We'll be back to Bryan Hebert Jr. and Kristen Poirier up next. Kristen Poirier takes out 1. Bryan Hebert takes out 6. Kristen Poirier on the follow-up. Ooh, she'll interesting slide of a pin. Bryan Hebert on the 1 pin, leaves the 7, 8, and 10. Kristen Poirier will take 1 out for a 7 box. And Bryan Hebert will take a 7 as well. 7 after 1 for both of our bowlers thus far. Here's Kristen Poirier. Oh, and she'll eventually get the head pin. That will be a split stat. 6 drop. Bryan Hebert off the right, just barely off the head pin, takes 8 down. It's the 1 and the 2. Kristen caps the wood. Not a lot of action there. Leaves 2 on the deck. Hebert. It's a spare for Bryan Hebert. He's on the board with a mark in the second for 17 and a bonus. Kristen Poirier will take a 9. 16 after 2 for Kristen Poirier. Kristen Poirier past 5 matches, 41 points, averaging 8.2 per match, 23.93 seasonal pinfall in her past 5 matches. Current streak of strings over 100 is 2. Longest winning streak of more than 7 points per match has been 6. That's quite a streak. Kristen Poirier off to the right, taking a few out. 2 out to be exact. Bryan Hebert on a fill. He'll take 2 as well. Poirier just thinly off the head pin. Hebert on the head pin. Oh, the kingpin wobbles but doesn't fall down. Kristen for the 10. Makes it a nice 9 box. 25 after 3. Bryan will take a 9 as well. 28 after 3. Bryan with a lead in the second game by 3. Kristen Poirier took the first game by 4 in case you're tuning in. Kristen Poirier 88, Bryan Hebert 84, and John Cadiero 129, John Lescarbeau 116. We're just starting out the second game in this doubleheader. Kristen Poirier on the 1-3. Ooh, that's a interesting split. Don't see that too often. 4 drop split. Bryan Hebert will take a few out on the left side. 3 drop. Kristen will go for the diamond. Cuts right. Leaves the 5-8. Hebert goes to the right of the head pin. Leaves the 1 and the 9. Kristen leaves an 8. Or takes an 8. Leaves 2. Takes an 8. 33 and 4. Bryan Hebert will make a 9 box out of it, leaving the head pin for 37 after 4. These scores are correct as of right now. Just making sure. In a doubleheader, the scoring can get kind of crazy. It's really fast-paced, and if you miss it, there's not a lot of time to fix it. So happy so far that we're still in sync. Here's Kristen Poirier. 4 drop. Hebert in the corner. 4 drop. Poirier pokes 3, pokes the 3. Hebert, that ball is off into the ocean. Kristen will take the back row, part of the back row for a 7. That'll be 40-4 to finish her half. Bryan Hebert just looking to get some pins out of it. That'll be 6 for 43-5, I believe, by my calculations. Look at your score updates, 43-40, and that is correct. Bryan Hebert, 43 after 5 with 1 mark. Kristen Poirier, 40 with no marks. That's the story so far. John Lescarbeau on your right, John Cadiero on your left. We'll continue our discussion about John Lescarbeau. We'll talk about bowlers on the right lane as they go up. So John Lescarbeau has 22 strikes, 73 spares, 80 tens for the season with a 52% perfect box percentage. He'll drop 7 right here and split. John Cadiero drops 6 and leaves the middle. John Lescarbeau tries to cut the 6, 7, 10, only hits the 10. And John Cadiero, a nice ball in the pocket, but a little bit light. Back row not affected. Lescarbeau, 8, leaving the 6, 7. And a 10 box for John Cadiero. An early lead of 2 in this second game here. John Lescarbeau. There's a strike. And John Cadiero will take 6. And he'll take 2 and leave 2. I think we'll get a replay coming up with John Lescarbeau in just a moment. And a nice 10 box for John Cadiero. John Lescarbeau, let's look at that strike if we can pull it up. He's at 18 and a bonus after 2, and it's 20 after 2 for John Cadiero. That is confirmed. Look at that strike. Beautiful ball. The 4-pin fell last. Lescarbeau on the strike. He'll take 6 out. Cadiero working on it. 6 so far for Lescarbeau. Cadiero. It's a 3 drop after everything is done and mixed. 8 fill on the strike for Lescarbeau. Cadiero, nice second ball. He leaves the 10. That'll be an 8 box on a foul for John Lescarbeau, I believe, and a 9 box for Cadiero. 29 after 3 for Cadiero and 34 after 3 for John Lescarbeau. Folks, if there's a documentary coming out called Candlepins for Cancer, No Questions Asked by Perry Harlow Media. It's coming out tomorrow, January 18th at 7 p.m. Link in the description if you want to check it out. It's on Perry Harlow Media on Facebook and YouTube. Here comes John Lescarbeau. He takes 6 out. 1, 3, 6, 10. It's the 4 horsemen right side. John Cadiero, he's a little bit off to the left. That's a 2 drop for Cadiero. Fix the pin cam a little bit. So the masking unit at Boutwell's is a little bit low. Tops of pins are a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to just adjust the pin cam just a little bit, as little as that's going to make a effect. But anyways, there's an effect. There's a spare for Mr. John Lescarbeau. And there's a spare as well for John Cadiero. Dueling spares to clean those up. That's 39 and a bonus after 4 for John Cadiero and 44 after 4, plus a bonus for John Lescarbeau. And we'll have to follow up to those right now. John Lescarbeau fires first. He mixes 6 down. And Cadiero will take an 8 fill eventually. Lescarbeau, yeah. Spare, a double. Cadiero, also a spare. Now that's a way to finish a half. Both bowlers are even surprised they're even at the half. It's 57 and a bonus after 5 for John Cadiero and 60 and a bonus for John Lescarbeau. These scores are confirmed here on the Atlantic Campus Single Store. This double header action class B and E here at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Now it's back to Kristen Poirier and Bryan Hebert next. All right, let me try to get to the bowlers evenly here. Bryan Hebert has a season record of 32-52 with 6 matches played. Away record 10-32. Home record 22-30. Season average 88.60. Away average 89. Home average 88.7. There's Kristen Poirier. She bowls a strike, though. Look at that. Bryan Hebert, working box. And Bryan Hebert will take an 8 all the while. A little bit. Look at that strike by Kristen Poirier all the while, though. Hebert off to the left. 3 drop. Kristen Poirier, that's another headpin shot, leaving the 6 and the 7. The 6 falls, the 7 is left on the deck. 9 fill so far. Hebert on the pocket, right on the money, leaves the 7 and the 10. The 10 is wiggling, it's thinking about it, it goes down, he leaves the 7. Kristen Poirier with a 9 fill, it's a 9 box. Or excuse me, not a 9 box, just a 9 leave. My mistake, 59 after 6 for Kristen Poirier. Bryan Hebert with a 10. That puts him at 61 and 7. Kristen Poirier with 59 after 6 with a 9 fill and a strike. She's going for the 10 box. It'll be a 9 box. That's 68 after 7. Hebert to the left of the headpin, and it will be a 6 box, a 6 drop. Pin in the back was still thinking about it. 1-3 pocket for Kristen. She'll knock down 7 and split 7. That's the 5, the 9, and the 10 for Kristen. Bryan's got the 1, the 3, the 9, and the 10. Second ball is into the ocean. And Kristen will take 2 and leave 1. Hebert will leave the 3 and the 10. 8 box. Kristen will take a 10 though. A profit of 2. That's 69 in 8 for Bryan Hebert. 78 in 8 for Kristen Poirier. Yes. Always fun when calling these matches and crisscrossing all the names, especially if they're in the opposite locations everywhere. There's a 1 drop for Bryan Hebert on the 10. Kristen Poirier fires next. It's looking to be a pop on the head pin and a 6 drop and a banana. Hebert on the retry. It's into the void out back. Kristen, that ball is going to be a -1 into the gutter and takes the 7 out. That pin will not count. -1, whatever the box is. Hebert, it's a 5. 74 and 9. Kristen will be an 8 box with that -1. 74 and 9 for Bryan. 86 and 9 for Kristen Poirier. Ooh, Hebert loving that right side on that 10 pin. Magnetically, another 1 drop. Kristen off to the right. A mix of 7. 1, 2, and 9. Hebert's on the pocket there. Much better ball. Leaves the 4 and the 8. Kristen just sails a little bit past the right of the head pin. No mark for either bowler going into the 10th. Bryan Hebert will take an 8 for an 82. Kristen Poirier will take the second game in addition to the first. 4 points so far for Kristen Poirier. And it's a 10 for Kristen. Nice pinning. It's an 82 second game for Bryan Hebert and a 96 second game for Kristen Poirier. That's a 2-game total of 166 for Bryan Hebert and a 184 for Kristen Poirier, pulling ahead in the total by 18 and took the second game by 14. And now John Cadiero. 6 on the fill. Oh, and a 0 fill for John Lescarbeau. Yikes. That's a yikes from me, dog. John Cadiero with a spare. Can he capitalize with a 3rd in a row? He won't quite do that. John Cadiero on the retry on the second ball. It's going to be a 2-drop. A 3-drop, actually. And Cadiero for the 10. He'll take an 8. Lescarbeau will take 8. I believe it's 71-6 for John Cadiero. And 68-6 for John Lescarbeau, yes. All right, so John Cadiero next. Let's talk about him. He has a season record of 36-62 with 7 matches played. Away record 14-28. Home record 22-34. Season average 107.3. Away average 101.73. Home average 111.6. High single 131. High series 582 with 16 strikes, 70 tens, and 70 spares and 80 10 boxes. 47% perfect box percentage. 37.58 pinfall so far. There's a 9-drop for John Lescarbeau in particular to highlight that. John Cadiero missed the head pin, but he dropped 5. Cluster of 5 in the center, and he misses the head pin. Only takes 2 and leaves 3. John Cadiero's got a piece of slanted wood in front of the 4-pin. You see that? That's going to be tricky. Got to play it at a weird angle, maybe cap the wood. Let's see what happens. Oh, but will the piece of wood in the gutter help him out? It will touch it, but can't quite rely on that. That doesn't go. Cadiero for a 10. Makes it a 9, 80-7. Lescarbeau, 10, 78-7. John Cadiero is the one on your left. On your right, excuse me. John Lescarbeau is the one on your left. John Cadiero has the. John Cadiero does not have the fancy pants on. John Lescarbeau has the duck pants on. There's a 5-pin spread eagle-ish shot for John Cadiero. 5-drop. Lescarbeau, 4-drop. John Cadiero into the middle. Lescarbeau, punch on the right. Pushed a little too hard there. Cadiero for a 10. He got a few more pins out of it. 7 box for 87-8. Lescarbeau on the head pin, takes 2, leaves 2, 8 box, 86-8. 87-86 is confirmed. Difference of 1 in this game by the 8th. Here comes John Cadiero on the head pin. Mixes 8, splits 8, 5-7. Lescarbeau on the right, takes 6. Cadiero, plays the left side. Only gets 1. Lescarbeau, 1, 2, 9, 10. Oh, the 9 doesn't go. 10 for Cadiero. It becomes a 9, or 10 shot attempt. Same for Lescarbeau, it's the same result. Still a difference of 1 in this heated match. 96 for John Cadiero, plus 1 over John Lescarbeau's 95. It's John Cadiero on your right and John Lescarbeau on your left. John Cadiero currently leading by 1. John Cadiero also took the first game, 129 to John Lescarbeau's 96. Here comes John Cadiero. To the right. 4-drop, 6-pack. Lescarbeau to the right, 6-drop. 1, 2, 6, 10. Cadiero outside of the head pin, leaves 3. Lescarbeau on the head pin. Yeah, there's a spare for John Lescarbeau. And that might be the game, because he'll have extra bonus pins. John Cadiero will take a 7, and he'll take a 103, and Lescarbeau squeaks it out, 105 and a bonus. They've traded blows each game. John Lescarbeau holding on till the end, getting a crucial mark where it mattered, the mental toughness prevailing. And now, not only has he won the second string, he's not going for bonus points because he's down in the total by 11, but he can make that a single-digit deficit. Missed the head pin, but he'll take an 8 fill. Nice. Makes a funny gesture about that. That'll be a 113 for John Lescarbeau. 103, 113 is confirmed, and 82-96 is also confirmed. That is your second game here in this doubleheader today. It is now time to move on to the third game, though. Very quick moving doubleheader today here at Boutwell's Bowling Center. I'm Steve Kelly in the call. It's great to have you along here. Kristen Poirier on your right, Bryan Hebert on your left. Kristen 1-2 pocket, 7 go down. Bryan Hebert, not on the head pin, but mixed down 8, 1-2. Actually, I like Bryan Hebert's leave just a little bit better. They're both makeable spare leaves. Kristen just has no wood. It's a 3-5-6. Kristen on the 5. Only the 5. Hebert. Oh, and he gets stuffed by the wood. I think it would have gone otherwise. Wood just kind of caused a weird deflection. Kristen Poirier for the 10 box. It becomes a 9. And Bryan Hebert for the 10 box. It becomes a 9. 9 after 1 for both. Bryan Hebert doing better on the left lane so far by a considerable amount, but so is Kristen Poirier, but the gap is a little bit lower. It's interesting. And analyzing the lanes 21 and 22 in particular, that stat is on your screen at all points of the game. Kristen Poirier takes 4 out. Bryan Hebert missing the head pin to the right again, drops 7. Kristen Poirier on the 6-pack. Take a few more out. Hebert grazes the head pin, leaves the 2 and the 4. Kristen 1-5-8. It'll be a 7 for a 16 after 2. And Bryan Hebert will take a 10 box, sweeping that up for 19 after 2. Again, I'll remind you tomorrow there is a documentary called No Questions Asked by Perry Harlow Media on Facebook and YouTube. It'll be airing tomorrow as of the time of this recording, January 18th at 7 p.m. The link is in the description. It's looking at the behind-the-scenes work of Candlepin for Cancer run by Al Johnson and Paul Grant. It's a great charity, great cause, great everything, and you can find out more about it in that documentary airing tomorrow. And also be sure to go to Candlepins for Cancer, candlepins4cancer.com to learn more. And Bryan Hebert will take a few more out while Kristen Poirier washed out 5, or took 5 out. It's a cluster of 5 on the left. 2 drop for Bryan, 5 drop for Kristen. Kristen on the follow-up. Shaves 2 off, it becomes a 4 triangle. And Hebert on the pocket on the money leaves the 3-5-9. Nice attempt. Poirier, it becomes an 8 box. 24 after 3. Bryan Hebert right on where the ball needed to go. That's another 10 box for Bryan Hebert. That's 29 after 3. Kristen mixes down an interesting 5. It's an accordion right side in the 7. Bryan Hebert will take out just the 6 pin on the first ball. Kristen takes 1 more out. Hebert takes 1 more out. Kristen will take a 6. 30 after 4. Bryan Hebert. It'll be a 6 as well for 35 after 4. An early advantage still holding on for Bryan Hebert. 35 after 4. Kristen Poirier 30 after 4. Kristen Poirier took the first 2 games, 88 and 96 to Bryan Hebert's 84 and 82. Total is still within reach. Only plus 13 in Kristen Poirier's favor right now. Kristen will take 6 out. Split 6. Hebert on the 1-2 pocket. There's a head pinch shot, and will it be a strike? Come on, go down. Oh my goodness. You are kidding me. That should have been a strike. What are you doing down there, Pins? 3-pin holds on. Kristen 4-6-3-10. She'll take the left half gracefully. Here's Bryan Hebert on a single pin spare. Oh, just connects with the wood. Sails behind. And Kristen, that's a 10. Nice work. 40 after 5. Bryan Hebert, that's a 10. Nice work. 45 after 5. It's a difference of 5 in Bryan Hebert's favor in this game. It's 45-40. I think, as soon as they put it in down there to confirm. And yes, 45 for Bryan Hebert and 40 for Kristen Poirier after 5. That is your halftime total for these two bowlers. 211 for Bryan Hebert and 224 for Kristen Bowler at the halfway point of the match. Now back to John Cadiero and John Lescarbeau. It'll be John Lescarbeau on the right and John Cadiero on the left. So we reconfigure the scores here. Here's John Lescarbeau on the right with a spread eagle, 4-drop. John Cadiero will mix down 6, 1-7-10-3. Oh, it's a 3-drop, excuse me, for John Cadiero. There's a sleeper back there. They're hard to see here. Cadiero, miss. Lescarbeau a miss. Cadiero a nice dance around to the 3-10, but not much going on there. No marks for either bowler to speak of. Lescarbeau here for the 10. It'll be a hard-fought 7, and then an 8-box for Cadiero. These bowlers bowl much faster than the Class E bowlers, so camera switches are a little bit more challenging with them. We'll try to sneak them in if we can, but their cadence will adjust based off of them. Lescarbeau. Hard punch through the center, 7-drop. Cadiero, an ugly split of 8. Pin should be good for Cadiero. Lescarbeau, will he take everything out? He'll miss the object pin and leave the object pin. Everything else is gone. Cadiero, nice spare. He takes that out on the 5-7. Lescarbeau for the 10, he's got it. No problem there. It's 18 after 2 for Cadiero and 17 after 2 for Lescarbeau. Let's watch Cadiero's spare again. 5-7, plays the wood. Beautiful ball. Nice tail, nice spin, nice angle. Well done. Very well done. John Lescarbeau here coming up next. Lescarbeau, 1-2 pocket. Split 7, 5-6-10. Bowlers talking some friendly shop down there. That's the best I could describe that as. Cadiero. Oh! He missed the headband, but he fills with 9 and almost got away with it with a strike. That 10-pin held on for dear life. As Mark Poirier yelled, I hope you get a 1, Phil. And Lescarbeau, he leaves the 6 and the 10. And Cadiero will spare that up. No problem. That should be 37 after 3 and a bonus by my count. And that will be a 9 for Lescarbeau. I think. It's down there as an 8. Don't know what that's about. All right, well, I will be course correcting that to them. Unless there's something I missed, unless it was a foul. I'll update that score to be 25 after 3 for John Lescarbeau. Bowlers have the authority on the scores down there. I'm just following along. 5-drop for Lescarbeau. Cadiero on a spare fill. He'll take 5. It's a Caleri left side. You like jazz? Lescarbeau takes 2, leaves 3, 4-6-7. Cadiero, 1-2, 4-7-9. For the spare shot, he leaves the head pin. Lescarbeau, 8. Cadiero, 10. after 4. It's 52 after 4 for John Cadiero and 33 after 4 for John Lescarbeau. That's what's down there, and that's what's back here. Great to have you along in this Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour match in Class B North at Boutwell, Class B North and Class E North at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. Great bowlers bowling some great shots today. Speaking of great shots, there's an 8 drop for Lescarbeau, and Cadiero will leave the 1-3 in the 7. A miss of a spare for Lescarbeau. Cadiero, oh, he almost gets it. It was a nice ball. It was a good attempt. Lescarbeau, 8 box. After 5, he's at 41. 10 box for Cadiero puts him at 62 after 5. And that is the confirmed score down there from what I can see. It's 62-41. John Cadiero with a bit of a lead over John Lescarbeau, a lead of 24 in the total as of right now. And Kristen Poirier and Bryan Hebert, it's a difference of 13. Here's Bryan Hebert. And he'll a thunderous drop of 9 for Bryan Hebert. Kristen Poirier mixes down a few. It's a 3 drop to be exact. Bryan Hebert single pin spare on the left side. Here it goes, and there it is. That's a spare for Bryan Hebert, a big one, a single pin spare. Well timed, well executed on the left side. Kristen Poirier, oh, the ball sails into the ocean. Into the same hole the first ball went into. Kristen Poirier, that's a 5 box. 45 and 6 for Kristen Poirier and 55 and 6 for Bryan Hebert. Here's Bryan. Following up on a spare. Good fill, 5 down, 5 fill. Here's Kristen, she'll take out the 6 and only the 6. Hebert outside of the head pin. Nice ball, nice, perfect kind of shot. That's exactly how you should play that kind of shot. On the outside of the head pin, it's scary, but trust me, it's a good attempt. And the 5-10 after a good shot in the pocket by Kristen Poirier. Hebert shooting for a 10. He's got it right on it. A missile on the 10. That's a 10 box, 70 and 7. Kristen Poirier sails through the ocean for an 8 box for 53 after 7. Talking more about Bryan Hebert, high single 106 for the series, 454 high series, 6 strikes, 30 spares, 43 tens for the season with a perfect box percentage, 2659 seasonal total pins, currently 4th in his division, 13th in the wildcard seed. He's currently in Class E North Division 3. He was in Class E North Division 2 last year and Class D North Division 4 2 years ago. And here's Bryan Hebert with a 4 drop, Kristen Poirier on the head pin with a 6 drop. Bryan Hebert will take another pin out the back row. Bryan Hebert in his past 5 matches, 28 points, averaging 5.6 points per game, 23.48 pins in his past 5 matches. Average points per away match, 3.3. Average points per home match, 7.3. 6 strikes, 28 spares, 38 tens in his past 5 matches. And Bryan Hebert will take a 5 box there for 75 and 8. Kristen Poirier with a 10 box for 63 and 8. It's Bryan Hebert on lane 22 here at Boutwell's in Concord. Off to the right, splash of 6. 1, 2, 7, 8. Not on the head pin, not bad though. Kristen Poirier on the head pin, leaves the 9. Nice ball by Kristen. And Bryan for the spare. Oh, he gets the wall of defense in between the 7 and the 8 and the object pins. Just weird action. Went where it basically should have gone, but just not a lot of action there. Kristen Poirier on the single pin spare. She has got it for the spare. No problem for Kristen Poirier. Bryan for the 10. Ooh, a little bit off. That's an 8 box. 83 in the 9th for Bryan and 73 in a bonus in the 9th for Kristen Poirier. Kristen Poirier's fill Gives her an opportunity to catch up to Bryan Hebert's 83. Here's Bryan. Off to the left. It's a 4-drop. Kristen's working on a spare with a 6 fill. And Bryan Hebert, oh, he'll leave the 1 and the 5. The 2 pins in the center row. Or column, whatever it is. Kristen, she'll take 2 of the 4 pins required for the spare, leaving the 1 and the 7. Bryan, the 10, takes the 1, leaves the 5. 92, third game for Bryan for a 3-game total of 258. Kristen, it's a nice 10, but Bryan Hebert will take the 3rd game in spite of that. 92 in for Bryan Hebert, and 89 for Kristen is confirmed. It's a 3-game total of 273 for Kristen Poirier with an 88, a 96, and an 89. Bryan Hebert threw an 84, an 82, and a 92 so far. 3 games down, 2 games to go for that matchup. And back to Class B North, John Cadiero and John Lescarbeau here on the ACST in Class B and E North in Concord, New Hampshire at Boutwell's Bowling Center. I'm Steve Kelly in the call. Hope you're enjoying this match from wherever you are at home on this kind of snowy on and off kind of day. It's really not too bad out there. It's just kind of like annoying kind of snow. John Cadiero with a 9-drop, 6-pin stands. John Lescarbeau, he'll mix down 7. He'll mix down 8. 1 and 10. Cadiero on the single pin spare. With wood, it's in for the spare. Lescarbeau, he overthrows it, threw it a little bit too hard. $72 and a bonus for Cadiero is in. With the 41 after 5 for John Lescarbeau, it becomes a 9-box for 50 after 6. John Cadiero fires to the left. Takes 7 down. He'll fill with 7. A big 17 for John Cadiero for 79 and 6. John Lescarbeau on the 1-3 pocket. It's mixing. It's mixing. It's still mixing. It's an 8. It's an 8 split. 2 and 10. Keep your hands at 2 and 10. Cadiero on the. He got, well, if that wood wasn't there, it might have been a miss, but he got an extra pin out of it, I guess. And John Lescarbeau, he ends up missing the target. John Cadiero with a 10. Keeping it going, and there'll be an 8-box for John Lescarbeau. I believe that's going to be 89 after 7 for John Cadiero, yes, and 58 after 7 for John Lescarbeau, also yes. It's going to be John Cadiero leading off next. And here we are to the left. 6 pins down, 4 pins up, 1-3, 6-10, 4 horsemen right side. John Cadiero will misfire to the right of the head pin. He'll take 6 down as well. The center cluster, 1-2, 5-9. Here's John Cadiero for the spare shot on the head pin. Loosely on the head pin. It didn't matter. That went. That's a way to get the 4 horsemen. And so does John Lescarbeau. A so what shot by John Lescarbeau. Heck of a performance by both of our bowlers. They're both on spares. 99 after 8 for John Cadiero plus a bonus. John Lescarbeau 68 after 8 plus a bonus. John Cadiero with a little more ground to recover. Here comes Cadiero. Off to the left. Still fills with 7. Not a problem. Big 17. And Lescarbeau, he misses the head pin as well, and he fills with 7 as well. So no contest, basically, in the last box, both with spare 7s. Cadiero misses the head pin, leaves the head pin. Lescarbeau, he gets his spare, and that's an advantage for John Lescarbeau. Cadiero will take a 9 for 115 and 9. It's 85 and a bonus and 9 for John Lescarbeau. If we have a second, let's take a look at John Lescarbeau's spare again. On the 1, the 7 and the 9 with wood just perfectly angled, and he hit the right object. The only object, really. Cadiero fires next. 1-3 pocket, everything but the 9-pin goes down. Lescarbeau. He's mixing on his spare fill 7. Here comes John Cadiero. He'll miss his single. Lescarbeau. He gets a spare, and that's another big moment here for John Lescarbeau. 3 in a row and a 10 box for John Cadiero. He left a mark on the table. It is currently 102 and a bonus for John Lescarbeau. It'll be a 125 game for John Cadiero, though. John Cadiero holds on, but John Lescarbeau gained a lot of ground back. Just not enough ground for the third game, but an admirable attempt. John Lescarbeau only took the second game so far. Here's the follow-up on the spare fill and the final ball of the third game for John Lescarbeau. It ends up becoming a 7 fill. That'll be a 109 for John Lescarbeau. That is confirmed. 125 for John Cadiero is confirmed. 92 for Bryan Hebert is confirmed, and 89 for Kristen Poirier is also confirmed. It's for John Cadiero, it's 357 after 3 games and 338, 3-game total for John Lescarbeau. John Cadiero 129, 103, 125. John Lescarbeau 116, 103, 109. Great action today here at Boutwell's Bowling Center, which you should check out if you're in the area. Action-packed, lots of competition, lots of bowlers just watching the match today. A lot of people just here bowling for fun. Whatever your preference, we've got it at Boutwell's Bowling Center. Meanwhile, it's Bryan Hebert and Kristen Poirier. Kristen Poirier washes out 3. Bryan Hebert takes out 2. Kristen Poirier on the mix for the spare. She leaves the 5 and the 10. Excuse me, that was a 3 drop for Bryan Hebert, not 2. There was an extra pin down in the back row. He leaves the 3 and the 7 after the spare attempt, no good. Kristen Poirier takes 1 for a 9 in the first. Hebert takes 1 for a 9 in the first. Let's see if I can get something queued up here for about Kristen Poirier. So here's her stats in case you missed them before. Kristen Poirier currently first place in her division. So she's holding on with a very positive record of 73 and 39. So that's the story for Kristen Poirier so far. Here she is. She mixes down 4 with a 6-pack left. Bryan Hebert on the pocket, blows up 7. 6, 7, 10. Poirier is off the object to the left. Spare attempt no good. Bryan Hebert for his, he'll take the right side. Just played it straight back though, leaves the 7. Candlepin is a game of angles. You can hit the right spot, but it still wouldn't be enough to take every side if you don't have the angles. Kristen Poirier with a 9 for 18 after 2. Bryan with a 9 for 18 after 2. 18 after 2 for both. Kristen Poirier on the right side, 1-3 pocket. It's the 7-8-10 leave. Bryan Hebert, he'll mix down 8. 1 and 2 are left. 8 drop. Now both of these are makeable. Kristen's kind of like red line-ish of the wood to cut right and take the 7. That's the idea. Here we go. Kristen Poirier, yep, that's exactly how you do it. Kristen Poirier with a spare. Hebert. Oh, he was on the object and just danced around the 2. That's just rough luck for Bryan Hebert. And Bryan will make it a 9 box, his third 9 box in a row for 27 after 3. Let's watch Kristen Poirier's spare because I really liked that one. Look at this. All over it. It's gone. 7, 8, 10, no problem. 7, 8, 10 spare. Here's Kristen Poirier, who's working on a spare right now. She shoots. Oh, come on. 9-pin falls late, but the 10-pin, that's a 9 fill for Kristen Poirier. Bryan Hebert's on the 1-3 pocket himself. He drops 9 as well, and the 2-pin wiggles. Excitement there for both of those first balls. Kristen placed the wood a little bit too directly and straight back with not much of an angle. Bryan Hebert on the spare, and he's clocked in with a single pin spare on perpendicular wood. Kristen on the follow-up will take a 9. 9-9 spare 9 for Kristen, 46 after 4. Bryan Hebert 37 in a bonus after 4. And let's watch this shot again by Bryan Hebert on the single pin spare as we recall the memories of this on the red line on the single. No problem. Kristen off to the right, washes out 3. Hebert working on a spare. Oh, it's looking good. 1-2 pocket. That was a strike-worthy ball. Leaves the 5 and the 9. 8 fill. 45 and 4 for Bryan Hebert now. Kristen on the pocket. Nice 1-2 pocket shot. Leaves the 5 and the 10. That was a hard one to convert. Hebert, he's on it. Oh, I thought he was on it. Just tailed off to the left at the last second. Kristen, oh, just threads the needle. It becomes an 8. I thought it was going to hit something there. Bryan Hebert with a 9 for a 54 half. That's a good half for Bryan Hebert. 54 as well for Kristen Poirier, though. Keeping the pace, even 54. Basically a no contest half for both of our bowlers in Class E, but it was a great first half for both of them. Both with a mark and 8 or greater for the boxes that aren't marks. 54-54 for both of our bowlers. 3-12 for Bryan Hebert, 3.5 games in. 3-27, 3.5 games in for Kristen Poirier. John Lescarbeau next. John Cadiero, okay, so no real action going on there. They're still just figuring it out. 6 drop for Cadiero, 6 drop for Lescarbeau, and a 5 drop for Cadiero. Oh, and a spare, there's the action. There's the action for John Lescarbeau in particular. John Cadiero still working on it, 8 and 10. No good on the spare attempt. That will be a 9 for John Cadiero. Let's have a look at the spare shot by John Lescarbeau. 1-7-10-3. It was an unassisted TV shot plus the 3, basically. A high-low jack in the 3. That was a nice one. All over the 1-2 pocket. Lescarbeau. He'll take down 8 on the fill. And for a strike, it's a strike for Mr. John Cadiero all the while. A so what kind of a mentality there. 8 fill for John Lescarbeau. 7-10 split with some wood to help him out. John Cadiero looking for some clout from the Dellases. I don't think he's going to get it because I don't think they saw it. And John Lescarbeau, rough goings on the 7-10 conversion. Lescarbeau, he'll make it a 9 for 27 after 2 for John Lescarbeau. Let's watch this replay again by John Cadiero. Well, we'll see part of John Lescarbeau's shot too, but here's John Cadiero's shot. He shoots his shot in the 5-pin. It goes down. That resulted in a touchdown, a strike. 19 and a bonus after 2 for John Cadiero. That's a 100-yard return for John Cadiero. Lescarbeau, 6 drop. Cadiero, 7 drop, split. But a good setup for a spare on strike. Lescarbeau first. A little bit off. Cadiero. Oh, the 5-pin doesn't go as a 9 fill on a strike. 28 and a bonus after 2 for Cadiero. 27 after 2 for Lescarbeau. A 9 for Lescarbeau. And a 9 for Cadiero. 37-36. It's still a difference of 1 in this game. 37 for Cadiero, 36 for Lescarbeau. can show you real quick some stats for Mr. Lescarbeau. As you can see, he's currently second place in his division and 6th in the wild card seed. I'll show that slide in just a moment again. Oh, and nearly another strike for John Cadiero. John Lescarbeau with a half Worcester right side. Oh, Lescarbeau, thin hit on the head pin. Not much going on there. Single pin spare miss for John Cadiero. Lescarbeau for the 10. Oh, well, it is a 10 for Cadiero and a 6 for Lescarbeau. Yikes. Cadero's at 47-4, and it's 43 after 4 for John Lescarbeau. They put it in as a 7. It was a 6, though. I think that's incorrect, but if they don't correct that, we'll have to see. All right. So it is in as a 7. The bowlers have not corrected it. That's an 8 drop for Lescarbeau. Cadiero with a 7 split. And there's a spare, though, anyways, for John Lescarbeau. That was right on target. Nice ball. Some spares are not super exciting to watch, but they're really good skill shots. So John Lescarbeau with a spare. That should put him at 53 after 5 and a bonus then, according to the scoreboard down there. And it's 56 after 5 for John Cadiero. Those are the scores down there on the scoreboard. Anyways, here's Bryan Hebert. Bryan Hebert with a 6 drop and a split. Kristen Poirier with a 6 drop. Hebert on the object pin. Ooh, wow. Pin kind of flies back forward. Oh, Kristen Poirier, though. Nice correction on that shot for the spare. Hebert with a 10. With an 8, excuse me. Kristen with a spare, yes. It looks like they have corrected John Lescarbeau's half back to 52. So what we saw was correct. They corrected it back to 6. It is 52 and a bonus after 5 for John Lescarbeau. All right, Kristen Poirier's on a spare. Bryan Hebert is, ooh, nice first ball in the pocket. Leads the 5 and the 9. 8 drop. Kristen Poirier, head pin shot, splash a 6. And a split of 6. Oh, Bryan Hebert, a heartbreaker there. Kristen will, ooh, cut left, or cut right to left, leave the 2. It's Bryan Hebert versus a single pin for a 10. 9 box guarantee. It's a 10 box for Bryan Hebert, 72 and 7. And it's the 2 pin for Kristen Poirier for a 10 box, 9 or 10. Could put her at 80. It will. 80 and 7 for Kristen Poirier with that 10 box. High scoring games for both of our bowlers. Here's we'll get that slide in just a second here. Oh, and Bryan Hebert sails over to the right. On the first ball, misfire. Kristen Poirier's on the 1-2 pocket. Will she get a strike? Yes, she does. And Bryan Hebert, though, no, that's a that was unique. That was a second ball gentleman's strike for Bryan Hebert. First ball was a misfire. Second ball was right where it needed to go. So they're both on marks. It's a spare for Bryan Hebert and a strike for Kristen Poirier. 82 plus this fill for Bryan Hebert. 82 plus 1. Easy come, easy go. A big 11 for 83 and 8 for Bryan Hebert. Kristen Poirier on a strike for the double. The 6 pin is touched. It doesn't go. That was a nice ball for Kristen Poirier. 9 so far under strike. Hebert Almost on the pocket on the second ball, and it takes the head pin out, and it's almost another mark. That actually reminds me of a story about Bryan Hebert we can talk about in a little bit. Bryan 311's Hebert, as I call it. Kristen Poirier on the strike fill. 9 or 10. It's a 10 fill and a spare on strike for Kristen Poirier. Bryan will take a 9. 92 and 9 for Bryan Hebert, and 110 was a ball in 9 for Kristen Poirier. Here's the shot by Kristen Poirier on the 6 pin. Takes it out. Hebert to the right of the head pin, takes a few out. 3 out. Kristen Poirier working on a spare fill, pops the pocket. 4 and 6 goalposts, 8 fill with wood. It's 118 and 9 for Kristen Poirier, 92 and 9 for Bryan Hebert. Kristen Poirier versus the 4 and the 6 with wood. Now the wood is settled a little bit differently than it did originally. She'll hit that wood and go through the center. Field goal. Hebert will take a nice 10 box. That's 101. 4-game total of 359 for Bryan Hebert. And Kristen with an 8 box. That puts her at 126. What a game by Kristen Poirier in particular. Kristen Poirier will take the 4th game by 25 and still holds the total by 40. Kristen Poirier 399 after 4 games. Bryan Hebert 359 after 4 games as we move back to John Cadiero and John Lescarbeau now. Here's John Cadiero. Off to the left, slow start, 3 drop. Lescarbeau on the pocket, 6 drop. And a 6 fill. Cadiero on the follow-up, blows the pocket up, the 5 pin stands tall. And Lescarbeau no good on the spare attempt. Cadiero will take a 10 box out of it. And a 10 box for John Lescarbeau all the while. See if I can show you as fast as I can. John Cadiero's stats. Currently 4th in the division, 13th in the wild card seed. 26 points in the past 5 matches, averaging 5.2 points per match. More than 6 matches, greater than equal 500 this season. There's a 4 drop for Cadiero. Lescarbeau leaves the 1, 3, and 9. 7 drop. Missed the head pin. Cadiero, oh, and he'll leave the 7. He'll leave No, he'll leave the 9, the 10. That's what I'm trying to. There were 7 pins down. It became an 8 pin down situation, and then the 9, the 10. John Lescarbeau, same thing, but with the 3 and the 9. Cadiero in between the 9 and the 10 for an 8 box. Lescarbeau punches it through for a 10. 78 and 7 for Lescarbeau, 74 and 7 for John Cadiero. Class E leading the way right now in terms of pace, but we'll see what the last 3 boxes bring us. Cadiero off to the right of the head pin. 3 drop. And Lescarbeau, he'll split 7. Nice ball for Lescarbeau, just not much to show for it. And Cadiero will, oh yeah, steal it any way you can. Larceny by Mr. Cadiero for a spare. And John Lescarbeau, yeah, so what? Look at that. I love that shot. Oh man, what an awesome setup that was. In fact, let's look at John Lescarbeau's because I want to see that again. That was beautiful. 4-7-10 for John Lescarbeau, and he spun that ball perfectly. Used the sidewalls, all of them, and that was a great one. Here's John Cadiero on a mark. Maybe should have waited an extra millisecond or 2. He fills with 4. And that's a 7 fill for John Lescarbeau all the while. 1-2-10. Cadiero, he'll take 2 and leave 4. 1-8-6-10. John Lescarbeau, he'll miss the object and take the other 2 pins out. Cadiero, he'll clean up for a 9. And that's a 10 box for John Lescarbeau. 97 for Cadiero, 105 for John Lescarbeau right now. Keep clicking the wrong thing. Have a look at John Lescarbeau's stats again in case you missed it. He's currently 2nd in his division and 6th in the wild card seed. In his past 5 matches, 36 points, averaging 7.2 points per match, 27.75 pinfall in his past 5 matches. Here's John Cadiero. And he'll drop 6. Left side diamond. Lescarbeau will mix down 6, 1, 7, 10, and the 2. With Cadiero, it's the 2, 4, 5, 8 diamond. Cadiero on that diamond. He blows that diamond up. John Cadiero, he went to Jared. That's a spare. And then 2 down, 2 up for Mr. Lescarbeau. And there's a 9 for Mr. Lescarbeau. To close out his 4th game with 114 for a 4-game total of 452. John Lescarbeau with a 107 in the 4th game plus a fill. He's at 464 and counting. And, well, a hard-fought 2 fill for Mr. John Cadiero. Active laugh track going on down there. It's a 2 fill for John Cadiero. 466 4-game total for John Cadiero. 452 for John Lescarbeau after 4. We now go into the 5th game. We'll find out where everything shakes out here as we go into the 5th and final game here in the ACST. Great to have you along. Steve Kelly on the call. 5th and final game of this doubleheader today at the Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Kristen Poirier next. Kristen mixes down 6. Split 6, Bryan Hebert will bomb out with a strike. Starting out hot. Kristen Poirier, she'll take a spare 2. Nice job. What a great shot that was by Kristen Poirier. Nice controlled ball in that split. Take that out. Both bowlers are on marks. That's 10 after 1 for both bowlers plus marks. Bryan Hebert on your left, Kristen Poirier on your right. Let's see if, oh my goodness, I keep clicking the wrong dang thing. Here's Bryan Hebert's stats again. I know we're fishing for time trying to show these as fast as we can. Bryan Hebert currently 6.2 on the head pin average per match with 2.8 splits per match on average. His past 5 away matches, 10 points, averaging 2 per match. Past 5 home matches, 22 points, averaging 4.4 per match. Kristen Poirier on the spare. Another shot, another 6 drop, another 6 fill. And Bryan Hebert for the double. He leaves the 410. He splits 8 so far on the strike. Two, 4, 7, 10 for Kristen Poirier. Can she do it again? Not quite. Ball wasn't quite where it was the first time around. It was the same leave as before, just rougher times. Bryan Hebert, he'll take the 4 or whatever that was and leave the 10 for a 9 fill. Big 19 in the first for Bryan Hebert. Kristen closes out with a 9 in the second for 25. Hebert right on it for a 10, and that's 29 after 2 for Bryan Hebert with a strike and a 10 and a 9 fill. Spare 6 and a 9 for Kristen Poirier for 25 after 2. Kristen 1-3 pocket. 4-6-10 split. Hebert off to the left, mixes down 6. Kristen wanted to play the right, but went too much to the right. Hebert went a little bit too much to the right, got an extra pin out of it, courtesy of the wood. Kristen will take a 7, 32 and 3. Hebert 153 for a 10 box. He'll make it a 9, leaving the head pin. That's 38 after 3 for Bryan Hebert. Kristen will punch straight out for a 4-drop spread eagle. And Bryan will take out 5. 4 horsemen right side and a sleeper. Kristen takes 2 and leaves 4. Bryan on the pocket, little full. He had a counterclockwise spin on his ball he put on that, and I think that might have somehow prevented some of the momentum. The 6, 9, 10 are left for Bryan Hebert. 2, 3, 4, 7 for Kristen Poirier. She'll take 2, leaving the 2 and the 3 for an 8 box. 40 and 4 for Kristen Poirier. Hebert, he'll take 1. It's an 8 box. 46 after 4 for Bryan Hebert now, going into the 5th. In his 5th and final game. Bryan Hebert's taken 1 game of 4 so far, 84, 82, 92, 101. Kristen Poirier, 88, 96, 89, and 126 coming into the 5th. Kristen Poirier currently with a lot of points. Bryan Hebert with at least 2. There's Kristen with a few down, 6 drop. Bryan Hebert's on the pocket, 7 drop split, 5, 6, 10. Kristen will take 2 and leave 2 as the 1 and the 4. Hebert, nice spare. Beautifully executed spare by Bryan Hebert. On the 5, 6, 10 with wood, that's a difficult shot to make. That's an 8 for Kristen Poirier, 48 after 5. Let's look at this shot by Bryan Hebert real quick because this was a beautiful one to watch. Look at this. Awesome job. Yeah, the right side of that piece of wood to get the sidewall bounce and then the kick into the 5. That's how you get that spare. Bryan Hebert's at 56 and a bonus after 5 and has 48 after 5 for Kristen Poirier. Bryan Hebert 2 for 5 in the head pin with 2 splits. Kristen Poirier 4 for 5 in the head pin. All of those head pin shots were splits. Here's John Lescarbeau now. John Lescarbeau with a 5 split. John Cadiero with 1, 7, 10, 3, 8. Lescarbeau, spare shot no good. Cadiero, spare shot no good. Lescarbeau, he'll take an 8. 8 after 1. Cadiero, 1, 7 for the 10 box. He'll take an 8. 8 after 1. John Lescarbeau in his longest streak of strings over 100 has been 12 this season. He has 6 matches greater than or equal to 500 grand total pinfall. His longest winning streak of 7 points has been 4 so far. And there's a head pin shot for John Cadiero in particular, an 8 drop. And that's a 4 drop for Lescarbeau. He's got the 4 horse on the right side, the 7 and the 8. Cadero's got the 5 and the 8. And everything but the object pin goes down for John Lescarbeau. He missed the head pin. John Cadiero is looking at the 5 and the 8 for some spare action. It's no good. He leaves the 5. He leaves the object. Lescarbeau for the 9. Well, it is for the 9 now. He gets a 9, and it's a 9 for John Cadiero as well. No contest there in the head-to-head box action. It's 17 after 2. Love for both bowlers. Lescarbeau, head pin, powerful ball. Everything but the 10 pin goes down eventually. And Cadiero, similar story, but he drops 7. 3 triangle. Lescarbeau, single pin spare, he's got it. That's 27 and a bonus after 3 for John Lescarbeau. John Cadiero all while, he leaves the 6. And that will be a 9 box for the gentleman, John Cadiero. 26 after 3 for John Cadiero, and John L is 27 and a bonus after 3. Lescarbeau, 1-2 pocket, he drops 5 so far. John Cadiero on the one of the pockets, he drops 7. And for the spare shot, John Lescarbeau is off to the right a little bit too much. John Cadiero on the 4-7-8. He pokes the 8 and leaves the 4 and the 7. Lescarbeau, he pops the pocket for a 10. Pops the diamond for the 10, I mean. 42 after 4 for John Lescarbeau. John Cadiero, he'll take an 8 for 34 after 4. We're just about to finish off the final half of the first game for all bowlers. It's a 7 drop for John Lescarbeau so far. John Cadiero, he's going for the strike. Come on, 5 pin. Oh yeah, the dance was the key to that one. That's how you get a strike. And a 7 split for John Lescarbeau. He wants to spare that up. So what? That's a spare for John Lescarbeau. Taking some of the thunder away from John Cadiero's dramatic strike. What a heck of a situation that was. 44 and a bonus for John Cadiero, and John Lescarbeau 52 and a bonus. That's the status of the final first half of the match. With 5 to go, it's Bryan Hebert and Kristen Poirier next, and we're going to start immediately. And Bryan Hebert will drop 5 so far. Bryan Hebert 5 on his spare. He started out fast. Kristen Poirier 5 so far. 1, 2, 4, 7, 10. Bryan Hebert 1, 3, 6, 8, 10. Oh my goodness, he hit all the pins. The head pin, you saw it wiggle. Can't believe that. Wild. Kristen Poirier outside of the head pin. Right place to put that ball. She leaves the 2. Both of these spare shots really should have gone. Bryan Hebert will take that extra pin out for a 10. 71 and 6 for Bryan Hebert. Kristen takes a 10 for 58 and 6. Hebert will poke 2 out for a half Worcester. Kristen Poirier will get that and then some. A 5 drop. Bryan Hebert still working on it. Spare attempt no good. 1, 5, 4, 7. 1, 3, 6, 7, 9 for Kristen Poirier. A little bit off to the right of the object pin. Leaves the 1, the 4, and the 6. A big triangle. Bryan will take a 9. 80 and 7. Kristen Poirier misses the object for a 7 box for 65 and 7. Bryan Hebert with a bit of a lead. A lead of 15 in the game. He's down in the total by 25. To give you an idea of where we are in the standings in this battle between Class E and the fight for 4 points in the grand total pinfall in particular. Here's Bryan Hebert. Blows up the pockets. 4, 6, 10. Kristen Poirier to the left of the pocket. 6 go down, 1, 3, 6. 7 go down, actually. Hebert, that goes into the channel. No harm, no foul. Nothing gets taken out. Kristen, 1-3-6 for a spare. It's going, it's going, it's going, it's on it. Oh, my goodness, right in the pocket. Can't believe that one didn't go. Bryan Hebert on the retry. He'll take a 9. That's 89-8. Kristen Poirier for a 10 box on the 6 pin. And the result of the play is a 9 for Kristen Poirier. It's 89-8 for Bryan Hebert and 74 after 8 for Kristen Poirier. Hebert, the ball crosses over, and it's a half Worcester left side. Kristen Poirier, ball crosses over but connects with the pocket, the 1-3 pocket, leaves the 4 and the 7. Bryan, ooh, wow. On the head pin, but it just kind of cuts through. 4-5-6, 3-7-10 for Bryan Hebert. 4-7 for Kristen Poirier over the spare shot. That wood is settling. It's makeable. Let's see it go. Kristen, oh, that's looking good. It is good. Oh, yes, that's a spare for Kristen Poirier on the 4 and the 7. Hebert. Beautiful recovery, Bryan Hebert. Oh, my goodness, that was an impressive ball. Any way you look at it. Nice 10 box. In fact, let's look at that again. I really want to see the way that was an unassisted shot with no wood for Bryan Hebert. There's nothing unimpressive about that. Look at that. Look at the way that went. Nice way to go out without losing a lot of pins in the process. Bryan Hebert off to the right. Pop 6. Kristen Poirier's on a spare. Result of the play on the spare fill is 7-5-6-8 for Kristen Poirier. Bryan Hebert for the spare shot. Oh, he misses the head pin and leaves the head pin. Kristen looking to clean this up. Oh, and I thought the spin was going to get more pins than just one, but that was the way it was. Bryan Hebert for the 10. He'll take a 9. 108. 467 5-game total for Bryan Hebert today. Kristen Poirier with an 8.99. Bryan Hebert will take the 5th game. At least 2 more points for Bryan Hebert. Kristen Poirier with a 99. It's a 498 5-game total for Kristen Poirier. With that 99 the 5th, 88, 96, 89, 126, and 99 for Kristen Poirier, 84, 82, 92, 101, and 108 for Bryan Hebert. 467 to 498, Kristen Poirier takes the total. Bryan Hebert will take 4 points today. Here's John Cadiero on the 1-2 pocket. Very symmetrical mix of 5. On a strike fill so far. John Cadiero, ooh, on a spare. That's a 2 fill, unfortunately. A misfire coming out of the gate, coming off the bench. Cadiero takes the center diamond, leaves the 7 and the 10. That'll be an 8 fill on a strike. Lescarbeau, he's mixing. He leaves the 3 and the 6. Cadiero takes 9. Lescarbeau takes 9. And the final 5 boxes today. I want to thank you for watching this Atlantic Candlepin Single Store doubleheader match. If you stay tuned and you're watching on Facebook in a little bit, I'm going to be live once again with another match. It'll be Bill Olson at Scott Perry coming up here. So don't go anywhere. If you want to watch more bowling, there's going to be plenty more of it coming up. John Lescarbeau on the head pin, and he'll drop 8. And it's a 5-7-10 lead for John Cadiero all the while. Cadiero sails into the ocean. 5-7-10 leave is a difficult one to convert. John Lescarbeau, he needs a spare, and he's got a spare. He finds a spare. There you go. And that's an 8 box for John Cadiero. It's 69 after 7 for Cadiero and 73 and a bonus after 7 for Mr. Lescarbeau. Lescarbeau with an advantage to try to make it hurt with that spare and that spare fill coming up. Here's Cadiero. Oh, no. A 9 drop with the extra pin just sliding. A nice attempt, but no good. On the strike, at least. And an 8 fill for John Lescarbeau. Single pin spare, it's no problem for Mr. Cadiero. Wanted a strike, got a spare instead. And John Lescarbeau pushes a little bit too hard. Leaves the 6, takes the 9. And he'll take a 10. 91 in 8 for Mr. Lescarbeau. It's 79 and a bonus in 8 for John Cadiero. Yes, that is correct. John Cadiero on the pocket again. Nice ball, but he leaves the 6, 7, 10. It's a split of 7 and a fill of 7. And for Mr. Lescarbeau, he'll drop 8. Another 8 drop. Spare opportunity he can capitalize on right here. Oh, that is out. That is, oh, unfortunately, yep, that's going to be an unforced error. A 7 box for Mr. Cadiero, and that's a spare for Mr. Lescarbeau. Coming alive here, 101 and a bonus in the 9th. Let's watch the shot by John Lescarbeau, 3-6. It's gone. Here's John Cadiero. Final opening ball. It's a headpin shot at least, and he'll drop 8, 2-4. Lescarbeau, 1-2 pocket. Oh, good 8 fill. Looked like a strike for maybe a split second. 9 and 10 for Lescarbeau. 2 and 4 for Cadiero. Spare shots. Final ones of the game in the match. Spare for Cadiero. Spare for Cadiero. He's got it. My word salad aside, as 103 and a bonus. And no problem. So what for John Lescarbeau? We have some overtime bowling here. Actually, let's look at John Lescarbeau's in particular. What a shot this was. Awesome bowling. Okay, 103, 119. John Lescarbeau will take this game, but let's watch the fills. Cadiero first. It'll be a 7 fill for Cadiero. That's a 110 for Cadiero for a 5-game total of 576. What a heck of a game. What a heck of a match. Lescarbeau, his spare fill is going to be big as well. It's going to be 9. All right, let's get those fills in. It is 110 to 128. That is confirmed all the way around, just making sure before we advance to the final results. John Cadiero with a 110 falls to John Lescarbeau's 128 in the 5th game. John Cadiero with a 576 today. John Lescarbeau with a 580. John Lescarbeau today walks out of here with 10 points. Victorious over John Cadiero's 4 points. And Bryan Hebert will take 4 points today. Kristen Poirier will take 10. The home bowlers both take 10 points apiece today. So here's your final stats. Yeah, so it's one heck of a day for our bowlers. John Lescarbeau went 60% on the head pin, as did, and Kristen Poirier went 26 for 50 on the head pin, over 50% for both of our bowlers. The split stats, particularly Kristen Poirier was the unluckiest with 16 splits. And first ball averages, the winner today is John Cadiero with 6.4. John Lescarbeau just close with 6.26, and then Kristen Poirier 5.72, and Bryan Hebert with 4.92. Let's talk about lanes 21 and 22 today. Lane 21 is the left lane. Lane 22 is the right lane. John Cadiero scored 300 on the left lane and 226 on the right lane. John Lescarbeau threw 313 versus 267, so John Lescarbeau's favorite lane was 21. Bryan Hebert, much better on the left lane on 21 with 248 compared to 219 on the right. And Kristen Poirier, likewise, 272 on lane 21 versus 226 on the right lane. So it seems lane 21 was the slightly better performer, actually, for all 4 of our bowlers today. So that's something interesting to consider. And I'll give you some graphs if you're very graphically inclined, just some ups and downs and some roller coaster rides, particularly in the first ball averages. You can see some bowlers doing really well, then taking a dip, and then maybe recovering, perhaps, depending on what part of the game it was at. The total pinfall, of course, always very interesting. And in the box winner stat, that's always an interesting head-to-head kind of stat. So John Cadiero, despite not taking as many points, he won more boxes than John Lescarbeau head-to-head, 21 to John Lescarbeau's 20. And then Kristen Poirier victorious over Bryan Hebert, won 19 boxes over Bryan Hebert 17. All remaining boxes are ties, to give you an idea. Anyway, so that should just about do it for us here at for this match, this doubleheader at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire, folks. So we'll be right back here for another match in just a little bit. We'll be doing this on a whole separate stream. Check me out on 3Ball Spare on Facebook, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, and Reddit when you have a chance. And we'll see. We're going to be setting up for the next match. So have a great one, everyone. We'll see you at the next Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour match. See ya.